A web of people motivated by greed. Investigators pointing the finger at an underground network of drug sellers and suppliers they say played a key role in the death of popular Friends star Matthew Perry. Two doctors, his personal assistants, and an acquaintance, along with a drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, all arrested in connection with Perry's death. They are charged and accused of providing 20 vials of ketamine to the actor for $50,000 in cash in the weeks before his death. The U.S. attorney on the case says after Perry died, this group tried to cover their tracks.
After Mr. Perry died, these defendants tried to cover up what they had done. On October 28th, after reading news reports of Mr. Perry's death, defendant Sonia wrote a text message to defendant Fleming saying, quote, "delete all our messages." Likewise, after Mr. Perry's death, defendant Placentia falsified medical records and notes to try to make it look like what he was doing was legitimate. It was not.
3 of the 5 charged have agreed to pleas. The Friends star was found face down in his hot tub at his home last October. Trial attorney and legal analyst Misty Marris is joining us with some of the details of the case. Good morning. As always, Misty, welcome to you. How strong of a case do prosecutors have on this one?
The case seems to be very strong by virtue of what we've read in this indictment, and especially, Marni, what you just pointed out. 3 of the 5 individuals who are involved in this ring have pled guilty. That means they've entered into cooperation agreements with the federal investigators and prosecutors. It means that they're going to be providing information in more detail about the distribution process of this ring every step of the way. So those guilty pleas for the individuals who may have been a bit less involved in the mastermind scheme of distributing the ketamine, those are going to be critical witnesses for prosecution in order to put all the pieces together for the Ketamine Queen and Matthew Perry's doctor, who are the 2 remaining cases that will actually be prosecuted and may end up going to trial.
So for these 3, what do they get in exchange for a plea deal?
So they got the opportunity to perhaps have lighter sentences. Keep in mind the 2 remaining individuals who still have charges pending against them, they're talking about life in prison, up to 110 years in prison for the other. So you're talking about significant sentences for conspiracy to distribute drugs resulting in death. The others, Marni, by the way, no slaps on the wrist here. 15 to 25 years for 2 and 10 years for the other. And a judge will decide within those ranges in their discretion what the sentences will actually be. But they're bound to be pretty serious regardless of the plea deal. But they're saving themselves from being charged in the exact same way. In a conspiracy case, anybody in the conspiracy can be held as accountable as the mastermind and the leader. So they're saving themselves from potential lifetime sentences.
What strikes you, Misty, as the most damning evidence, according to court documents so far, when it comes to the doctor and this Ketamine Queen?
The text messages. The text messages that say, "How much do you think we can get this moron to pay?" Talking about Matthew Perry. And by the way, Marni, I'm just struck by the trust that has just been broken with respect to this doctor and their relationship to the patient, because you're talking about a very public figure who has said that they've struggled with addiction, even so much to say in their book that ketamine would be something that they could see themselves getting addicted to. Matthew Perry had said that in his book. And you're also talking about a doctor who's in a unique position to understand the implications and import of a prior drug addiction in Matthew Perry's current state. So text messages like that, showing that part of that scheme that the U.S. attorney laid out, that they're shirking their medical responsibilities for the purpose of making money and profiting. So those text messages and electronic communications, coupled with the individuals who pled guilty, that's how the prosecutors are going to put together a tight case on this one.
Do you think they'll cast an even wider net? And can you prosecute complicity? Might there be others who knew this was happening but didn't step in and do something to stop it?
So you could perhaps prosecute others who may have been somehow directly involved. And I think they'd probably be looking for those individuals, because the idea behind this, as was stated at yesterday's press conference, it's deterrence. If you are any part of the distribution chain, you will be prosecuted, and you will be prosecuted to the harshest extent of the law. So it's to deter those individuals who may have known something was going on and were not actively participating. I don't know if you're going to see criminal charges on that respect, but you certainly could see potential civil liability if that were to be the case, or other types of perhaps charges much lower level, not necessarily being a part of the conspiracy, but there could be something based in negligence. It would just be so fact specific. I do think that prosecutors took their time on this case. We know the rumblings of the investigation were a couple months ago, and we talked about it then, and we said, yeah, DEA's involved. This means federal charges, and that's what actually came to pass.
Well, it's a tragic case, and this sends a strong message, just the beginning of it. Misty, as always, thank you.
Thank you, Marni.